everything in the other 3 videos about primary roles that aren't support or jungle doesn't apply the same way. That being said, this role is overpowered and you can win all of the games that you play, I mean all of them, in normals from this role pretty much non-stop. Like, jungle is a dominant role if you're good. So my recommendation is if you're new to jungle or you want to learn it, buy Lee Sin, go into a practice tool, learn how he feels. Then come watch this video. And we'll cook, you feel me? We'll cook some good quality grade stuff, some good crystal. So the way we're gonna do this is, apparently my team's invading, so they want a high volatility match, whatever. Is we're gonna start at our red, because we know Hecarim's starting on his blue now, or his Raptors. Either way, we're starting red. So I'm not a Lee Sin specialist by no means. There's an Inting Silent in our game, holy shit. I'm not no Lee Sin specialist, but the way you play Lee Sin is you want to start W, go leashless on your red if you can. You can get a leash, it'll help you, but like you can go leashless, you start W, you auto once, W, auto 2 times for your passive, W, do it again. This gives you a really reasonable clear speed because it puts you up to almost 1 attack a second for pretty much the whole thing. And then I'm gonna smite early. I'm running straight to my blue. I'm doing 3 camps, and then I'm gonna look for money top lane. And your Q does more damage the lower health they are on the second half of it, so you want to use the Q second in rotation while clearing on Lee Sin. The reason I'm recommending Lee Sin, by the way, is because he's hard enough, like his ceiling is high enough to where like you won't get bored for like 200 games of jungle, but his floor is like actually not that bad. Like there's a lot you can do that can like your team with your ultimate, but like honestly, Lee Sin's pretty, I'll say it straightforward. He can be complex. You don't have to make Lee Sin complex. Lee Sin does good damage. He's a bruiser. He can kill people. Like, don't overthink it. Don't reinvent the wheel. You're not the best. You don't have to be. You just gotta play a clean game of Lee Sin. So first gank is successful. We have killed their top lane. So what we do now is we know that their Hecarim is right over here. We know their Hecarim is right here. We know that because we know where he started. So because we know their Hecarim's right here, we come here, we take a shit. Because we're Lee Sin, and there's nothing he can do about it except die to us. And now because we know he has to back, we're gonna path down here. What the fuck? Okay. I'm really ahead now. We've done the jungle thing. We have a lead on the enemy jungler. So we know that he's bot side has spawned. Jungle becomes very fun now. I have a lead on this guy. His team has to come defend him if I show up. He's bad. He's just dead now. Like, he's just super... Yeah, now I can take all his shit. Because now he's dead. So he has 2 seconds, he'll be back up. He's gonna run straight back down here, probably. But by the time he gets here, all his shit will be, like, mostly gone / gone. And he's so far behind in XP now that if he tries to fight me, he just dies again. And if he dies to me again, this game's, like, freaking gone. Like, Hail Mary. No chance. I should be looking at this Nico, to be honest.
My training left more scars than any black.
Okay, so because we've generated a huge lead on this Hecarim in a very short amount of time by acknowledging where he started, paying attention to the timing of things, ganking at a good timing, and then finding him in his jungle on a champion who is good at 1v1ing, which is why we pick Lee Sin. It's why I recommend you're learning jungle on Lee Sin of all people. Because, like, you don't want to play an like non-early game jungler when you're learning, I'm gonna be honest, because it can be a miserable experience. You don't really know what you're doing, so you can't like fix your situation as easily to be advantageous for you if you're playing a late game character. And jungle's default an early game role, so playing an early game jungler makes the lanes you have not flame you as much, which when you're learning is super important. So this Annie's goddamn legend, so we're gonna go take dragon. Oh, Hecarim showstop. Yep, we just take this and then we go to his blue because he started blue. So he's here, his blue is up. This is up. So we're gonna go take that right after we're done with the dragon. Because dragons win games once you have 4 of them. Like the dragon soul is super, super good. And as the jungler, it's not like your primary job necessarily to get objectives like neutrals. Your primary job is to make sure you are generating a lead for your team. But if you can get the dragons, that is a lead for your team. So.
Shut down.
So see how like far behind he is of me now? He's literally 2 whole levels behind me because I just like took in his shit every time I get a chance. And overall I'm just getting more kills than him, so I have more XP. And I've cleared my own jungle as well, so it's just like, it's tough for him out here. He's playing versus somebody who's just playing the game better. And that's why jungle feels so bad for new players. Because like, if you play versus somebody who's played more games of jungle than you, there's a high likelihood they do something similar to what I'm doing to this player to him to a lesser degree, usually. This is a pretty extreme example, but like, this is like what jungle's all about, in my opinion, is like generating a lead that they can't deal with. Because like, it's really hard to deal with a fed jungler compared to every other role. You're dealing with like a fed top laner, don't go fucking top lane. Or go top lane with like 5 champions, kill them. You're dealing with like a fed fucking jungler though, it's a whole different game. It's like, what do I even do about that? Not a whole lot is usually the answer. And the reason we buy Umbral Glaive is because you don't want to get rid of your wards on Lee Sin. Your wards allow you to jump to them with your W. So because of that, you want to hold on to your wards, buy an Umbral Glaive, call it a day. Die.
Double kill.
We farm kills today. It is what it is. In line with the strategy, we gut any resources from the enemy jungler if possible, whenever possible, because we are ahead of him. So if he shows up to try to take his own shit and we're here, he's probably just dead anyway. So we should assume that he's going to not show up. And then if he does, he will die unless their team helps him. And if their team helps him, your team should be able to generate an even or greater lead to your death, because all they need is 2 minion waves. So you just need to stall long enough for 2 minion waves to have been generated as a lead from your pressure. That is like the only way inting as a jungler isn't awful, is if you don't have shutdown gold and your team is able to generate like a massive advantage in CS off of your like shenanigans, which often they can, and they don't even realize that they've like benefited from your shenanigans. They just blame you because you died, because they don't like know how to do math, so they can't like, you know, add up like 14 minions equals 300, like 12 gold or some shit. Which is fine. Like, it's not your job as the jungler to justify your actions to your team, it's your job as the jungler to make sure your team is all winning the game. And then at the end of the day, if the Nexus blows up and it's theirs, you've done your job. And then, similar to AD carry, the other thing that you need to remember to do, especially in these games where you're like playing with new players, because you're a new player, everybody in your game's a new player, nobody really knows what's going on, so they don't really know how to win a game. So you need to remember that winning a game of League of Legends means destroying some towers and blowing up a Nexus. So like, if you're not doing that, even as the jungler, you should make sure to hit towers, make sure to get your heralds, make sure to push in lanes with your team if it makes sense. If they ping you to not do it, then maybe don't do it. But if they don't ping you not to, then like sometimes pushing in lanes isn't even a problem, especially if you have a lead and you know what you're doing. Making sure you get your towers even as the jungler, and making sure that you spend your money, you know, and don't listen to your fucking teammates when they're telling you to int. Super important. So clearing camps on jungle can be giga important too, because you want to finish your jungle item, but notice how I've like cleared less jungle camps than you'd expect. Like, I'm not being super efficient about it. Like, I have 12 fucking kills. I've been doing the other stuff. But notice how I'm still ahead on jungle items, because I'm still, like, when it's free, I'm getting money, you know? Like, taking his money, of course, to make sure he can't ever catch up. Because if, like, the Hecarim catches up, he is a stronger champion than me in the game when he's ahead of me, or even to me. But if he's behind me, he's fucking not very useful. My champion's really good into him. Win ahead. So because I was able to find him early and generate that lead, we're frickin' vibing.
An enemy has been slain.
I can get Herald and then end the game. So that's gonna be my play. I'm gonna use my summoner spell as a meme, you know, and run over here. Wen got it, so we can't end the game because she's going to use it in the wrong lane. Okay. GG. Okay, that's how you win a game as jungle. Generate a lead, shove it down the enemy jungler's throat, use that giant lead to win the game. By destroying towers, inhibitors, the Nexus. Get the neutrals when possible. Always take your 1v1s. They're OP as shit. Especially on Lee Sin.